Welcome to our Weather Impact Report, where we take a look at the top weather stories here in Georgia and around the nation. I'm meteorologist Danielle Moss. This week, the U.S. saw some serious weather. We're talking tornadoes, floods, and record rainfalls that made headlines from coast to coast. First up, tornadoes. On the last day of March, a strong system moved through Georgia and produced 6 tornadoes across the state. The first confirmed tornado was in Henry County. The National Weather Service confirmed an EF1 touchdown in Stockbridge. This video shows some of the downed trees across the county. We spoke to the National Weather Service about how they determined the strength of a tornado.
We'll go inspect the damage, look at all of the factors, whether it was tree damage, trees next to houses, was the house damage, and begin to assess what type of wind speed it will take to cause that type of damage. And we'll add up, sort of look at all of the damage as a whole and come up with a general rating on the tornado itself.
And there were no jokes on April Fool's Day for the people in Carroll County. Instead, they had an EF0 tornado bring storm damage. We spoke with a young woman who lives on Cypress Circle in Carrollton. She was inside her home when she heard a tree crash through her roof.
When I heard the pop sound, my anxiety was like, I was like shaking. I couldn't stop, just overthinking everything that could be happening. And then actually seeing it, I broke down because my papa worked hard for this house to get it, and only to find out that a tree decided to go through his room and just destroy everything.
The National Weather Service also confirmed 4 other EF0 tornadoes in Georgia. The storm has passed through Centerville, along with Fayette, Peach, and Coweta counties. All of this happened on Monday morning, and the weather across the South was just getting started. Late Monday night in Louisville, a driver had a very scary encounter with a tree. A news crew was out surveying weather damage when they captured this scary moment. A car driving down a dark road didn't see a large tree that had fallen across the street. That vehicle slammed into the tree. The driver did have to be checked out. And Monday's storms produced multiple tornadoes in several other states. Some good came from the first frontal system of the week. It helped slow the Table Rock Complex fire burning in South Carolina. The weather played a big role in alleviating some of the fires that have been burning for more than a week. The rain from the previous week was not enough to put the fires out. Fire crews had a tough time containing the embers because of the fallen trees in the area from Hurricane Helene.
So today we have hand crews out on the line. We have everything from folks digging hand line to excavators working to bulldozers and the aerial resources. So we're continuing to throw all the resources we have at this fire and hopefully able to increase containment by the end of today.
And containment has increased so much that one of the national parks has announced that it's officially reopened. It was unfortunate to see that the aftermath from Hurricane Helene aided in the recent wildfires. The storm was the deadliest U.S. hurricane since Katrina in 2005, killing about 250 people. As of last week, the deadly storm is now among the hurricane names being retired in the wake of the deadly 2024 hurricane season. The World Meteorological Organization Hurricane Committee retires names of storms that have been especially deadly or destructive. They do it to avoid confusion and sensitivity in future seasons. Helene was not the only name retired. The names Brianna, Holly, and Miguel will take the place of Beryl, Helene, and Milton on the Atlantic Basin list, and Jake will replace John on the Eastern Pacific list. And hurricane names, they stick with us because of the destruction they leave behind. A retiring of a name marks how serious and unforgettable it was. But there's no such thing for tornadoes. They don't get names. And this past week, we saw some truly devastating ones rip through the South and Midwest. Entire neighborhoods were leveled. Families lost everything. Take a look at this tornado near Lake City, Arkansas, which is just north of Memphis. The National Weather Service called the tornado that hit the area catastrophic. Homes and other buildings are now flattened. Rubble sprinkled for miles. Trucks and heavy farm equipment scattered like toys. Powerful storms were reported Wednesday night in parts of the South and the Midwest. In fact, over 30 twisters hit between April 1st and the 3rd. The storms are blamed for multiple deaths and hundreds of thousands of utility customers left without power. Communities across the South are reeling from destructive tornadoes Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. Selmer, Tennessee is one of the places with extensive damage. Ryan Hodges reports.
When I seen all 3 of them vehicles start moving, I knew this business was getting real. So I started pushing everybody into the bathroom. And that tree fell on the side of our apartment. Started crushing his apartment, and there's a big tree that almost took out half of our apartment.
The house right next to their apartment is completely gone. In fact, there used to be a carport with a white Jeep underneath. Now that Jeep is upside down on the other side of the road. The individual told us that they were very lucky that this did not happen to their apartment, which was literally just feet away.
But other than that, this has got to be the worst one I've seen. Like that tree right there, that sucker's almost big as my car, and it uprooted just like that. And took dude's house with it.
He also tells us that there has been, tremendous support in the Selmer community over these past few hours since it occurred. Many people have been here helping out, doing everything they've been able to do. I've personally seen some state troopers going around trying to look for people to see if they need anything at all.
And the firefighters from here, some fellas that's pretty big in the community was coming out and helping. And a lot of people, with trucks, chainsaws and stuff like that was coming out to help. Well, I'm really glad that the community can really come together when it's something like this.
And that community needs all the help that it can get. And the National Weather Service said its preliminary survey indicates the town of Selmer was hit with an EF3 tornado with wind speeds of 160 miles per hour. In northern Kentucky, a woman had to be rescued after a large tree fell on her home. The tree completely uprooted, slicing the roof of the house. Rescue crews in Erlanger, Kentucky had to go inside and get the woman after she became trapped. 2 others were able to get out on their own, but incredibly, the woman only suffered minor injuries. Trees are always a top concern when addressing severe weather. A tree fell onto a property in Memphis, Tennessee, and left 3 members of a family trapped and injured. Bria Bolden spoke to some of the injured family members about what happened and the cleanup.
It's hard to believe that things like this can actually happen.
Magali Guevara and her children are still shaken by a storm sending this tree into their Midtown home.
All the insulation, it was like everywhere, and it was like dust, and it kept on going into our eyes and our mouths, and we were coughing a lot until Haley and Francisco was covering us.
Their neighbor's tree crashing into their living room Wednesday, damaging not only their home, but their vehicles and their neighbors' cars as well. Magali says her and Rodrigo were in the driveway. Magali says Rodrigo got out of the car, the tree fell on top of him and on top of the car she was in.
That's when I started panicking because I couldn't see him. I started calling his name, but once I heard him, I'm okay, it's just my legs are broken. That's everything. My kids were, my daughter and my son were shielding the 3 little ones because the roof came falling in on them.
Rodrigo has a broken leg, dislocated ankle, and 2 rib fractures. The family is staying with other family right now. They don't know when the tree will be removed from their home, but are thankful Rodrigo is still with them.
That was just the beginning of the weather woes for the Mid-South. The National Service always sends out crews to assess the damage after the storm passes through. However, the continuous rainfall made it very difficult for multiple weather offices this week. In Louisville, emergency agencies requested the help of the public to speed up the process.
After a likely tornado pummeled through Jeffersontown, the next step is to document the hardest hit areas.
All right, so this is what we deemed to be the worst damage. And we were kind of taken by surprise because we started on Ampere Court. The damage was still pretty bad, but then we turned the corner and this was the worst.
Twins Hunter and Henry Ware say they couldn't believe their eyes, witnessing what was left of KEP Electric in Jeffersontown.
Hardly anything even left of it.
The canvassing volunteers are helping out both the city of Jeffersontown and Louisville Metro Emergency Services to document what was left from the storm's path. Their task is to take photos of the destruction for disaster response.
But the building's gone. There's nothing. There's insulation, not only here, but it's scattered everywhere. Back behind it, the trees are filled with insulation.
The J-Town residents say this is an area they couldn't even walk to at first because of a downed power line. That's just one obstacle in a field of litter.
Then the sheet metal was just blown all over the place. And then if you go around the corner, there's trucks underneath the building that the building fell on top of.
It's an active scene of recovery. Electricians restoring power lines, a box truck being loaded up with debris, machinery holding up a fallen wall, and a click of a camera capturing the devastation.
I feel pretty important.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do my part as a citizen of this town. So
I feel honored that
good.
we were able to get out here because this is one of those things Most people can't, and they want to help, but we got the privilege, so.
Because this time, it hit close to home.
It's always on the news far away somewhere, but it's just 5 minutes from our house, so it really hit me.
They say they're grateful for no reported injuries or deaths, but are prepared for a long road to recovery. In Jeffersontown, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS 11, on your side.
After multiple rounds of severe weather, the flooding arrived. Storms drench a huge chunk of the country from Texas to Ohio, turning roads into rivers and causing serious chaos. Tennessee again took a hard hit. Here's a story from one Memphis community that faced extreme flooding and the high school student who helped keep them safe.
Okay, we're going another one. As the Mid-South braved a once-in-a-generation storm, Cambridge Station condos in Memphis stepped up to save each other from flooding, and one teen in particular, 17-year-old Kadarius Smith.
Why did you decide to do that?
Because my friends and family and my mama was also out here, and she had to get back to the house, so I was like, wasn't nobody else doing it.
With tenants trapped by several feet of water, Memphis Light, Gas, and Water didn't respond to their request.
He was out there in his shorts and sandals, and he was getting the water up. It was right here.
As the water grew taller on Thursday, Kadarius showed us what he had to work through.
It was like right here.
Wow.
Yep, and it went all the way to right there and all the way over here.
So all the way up to these bricks over here?
Yeah, all the way up, probably like to about this much left for the brick.
At one point, after realizing his rake wasn't working, he bent down and used his hands to clear the drain.
The maintenance lady, she came, I say probably like an hour after me halfway doing it and the other guys helping me. She ended up coming through here to help, and we just all got it done.
And his mom, Kiyomi, was there to see it.
I feel happy. I'm glad he's helping out.
And you said when the rain comes in over the weekend, you'll be here again to do the same thing?
Yes, ma'am.
In Hickory Ridge, South Riverdale, I'm Lauren Turman.
Unfortunately, a 9-year-old boy tragically died after being swept away by floodwaters on Friday morning in Frankfort, Kentucky. Police say that he was walking to his school bus stop. His body was found about 2 hours later, half a mile from where he went missing. The incident has sparked questions about why school remained open despite severe weather. The community is mourning, and support is pouring in for Gabriel's family.
On behalf of the Frankfort Police Department, we would like to give our sincerest condolences to the family of this juvenile. Our prayers are with them. Our prayers are with all the members of the community, with the members of the school system. Our hearts are really go out to them.
The death toll is rising after severe storms and tornadoes. 5 states are reporting at least 16 deaths. They include Missouri, Indiana, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee. The flooding began on Saturday for parts of the Mid-South, many of the same areas that were hit hard by severe storms. And the storms, they were on the move by Saturday night and headed here to Georgia. Strong storms triggered multiple severe thunderstorm warnings across the state. Unfortunately, a father and son were killed when a tree fell on them at a golf course in West Georgia. According to the Muskogee County coroner, the tragic accident happened during the storms at Bull Creek Golf Course in Midland near Columbus. 2 men, 58-year-old Matthew Collins and his 29-year-old son, Matthew Collins Jr., both from Harris County, were killed. The coroner says they parked their golf cart under a tree to wait out the storm, and sadly, the tree fell on them. In a post on X, Governor Brian Kemp shared his condolences after the tragedy. He asked everyone to keep the victims' loved ones in their thoughts and prayers, and to remember all the first responders working hard in the aftermath of the storm. The National Weather Service has confirmed that an EF1 tornado moved through that area. Winds were around 90 miles per hour. This video was taken near that golf course. A member from our 11 Alive Weather Impact team says that the storms were moving very fast. 1 minute, it was barely raining, and within seconds, the weather turned severe. The same storms brought down trees and knocked out power for thousands across the state. Severe thunderstorm warnings were issued throughout the day. 11 Alive's Chase Howe was in Coweta County where a tree fell on a home.
A mother and her 2-year-old daughter are safe after a tree smashed into their Noonan home during Sunday afternoon storm. A block down the road on 1st Street, a tree uprooted from a woman's front yard. As you can see, the tree barely missed her home. She says she was on her front porch when she started to hear some cracking noises. Next thing she knew, the tree in her front yard came falling down.
Calls start coming in very quickly.
Shift Commander Sean Terrell works for the Coweta County Fire Department. He says he was helping out the 911 dispatch center when the storm came rolling through the area.
Majority of the calls that we had today were tree downs, and we did have some vehicle accidents on the interstate. Luckily, we didn't have any injuries.
Commander Terrell says when storms start moving through the area, it's important that people know the difference between 911 and 311. He says if you believe yourself or someone else is in danger, call 911. But if it's something like a tree down in your front yard or a downed power line, that's a job for 311. In Coweta County, Chase Howell, 11 Alive News.
The severe weather was not the only big weather headline this week. Atlanta broke a record high temperature on Friday. With temperatures heating up, the city of Atlanta says applications are open for a program to help you save money while cooling down your home. The Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program can help bring down your payments. People who are 65 years or older and those who are medically homebound can apply now. Applications in May are now open for those who need income-based assistance. Take a look at this. This is the breakdown of who qualifies based on the size of your household. The money is distributed on a first-come, first-served basis. To apply, contact your local community action agency. From devastating tornadoes and historic floods in the South and Midwest to unusual warmth right here in Georgia, it's been a week full of extremes. A reminder of just how quickly the skies can shift and how important it is to stay informed and prepared. With your Weather Impact Report, I'm Danielle Moss.